Easter Sunday, 1975, seemed like any other holiday for the Rupert family. But what began as a typical family gathering soon transformed into a nightmare. This horrific event is now known as the deadliest family massacre in American history. In this video, we will delve deep into the tragic events that led James Urban Rupert to slaughter 11 members of his own family. Stay with us as we unravel the shocking details of this chilling massacre. James Urban Rupert was born on March 29, 1934, to Leonard and Charity Rupert in Hamilton, Ohio. From the start, his life was far from normal. His father, Leonard, had a violent temper, which made James's childhood an emotional battleground. To make matters worse, his mother, Charity, was openly biased, showing preferential treatment toward his older brother, Leonard Jr. James, often told by his mother that she had wished for a daughter instead of him, grew up with a profound sense of rejection. This emotional neglect took a toll on James, shaping his personality in ways that would later have tragic consequences. As a child, he endured not just the emotional torment from his parents, but also physical suffering. His father's stubbornness, such as keeping chickens in the house despite James's severe allergy to their feathers, displayed a complete disregard for his well-being. At the age of 12, in 1947, James faced another blow when his father passed away from tuberculosis. However, the cruelty did not end there. His older brother, Leonard Jr., quickly filled the void left by their father's death, bullying James further and continuing the cycle of torment. The constant harassment affected James's school performance and social life, making him an isolated and lonely teenager. This constant abuse and lack of parental support led James to a dark place. At 16, he attempted to take his own life, though his suicide attempt failed. This was a pivotal moment in James's life. He stopped trying to improve his circumstances and resigned himself to being the inferior son, accepting a future of mediocrity. As he grew older, his resentment toward his family grew, particularly toward his brother, Leonard Jr. This animosity intensified when Leonard Jr. married one of James's former girlfriends, a relationship James never fully let go of. At this point, James felt as though the entire world was conspiring against him, pushing him toward a life of bitterness and frustration. After dropping out of college, James took up a menial job as a draftsman but remained unemployed for much of his life. He continued to live with his mother, often relying on her and his brother for financial support. Meanwhile, Leonard Jr. went on to lead a successful life, securing a job with General Electric and buying a house where he lived with his wife and 8 children. James, on the other hand, sank deeper into resentment. He developed an obsession with guns and began drinking heavily, using alcohol to numb his feelings of inadequacy. This downward spiral was further fueled by his mother, Charity, who tired of his drinking and threatened to evict him unless he paid rent. James had lost all his money in the 1973 stock market crash, making it impossible for him to meet his mother's demands. The situation reached a boiling point when Charity's threat of eviction pushed James closer to the edge. He had become a man on the brink, and it was only a matter of time before his simmering rage boiled over. On March 29, 1975, James's 41st birthday, he was seen shooting cans at the Great Miami River in Hamilton. However, this seemingly innocent activity was a prelude to the carnage that would follow that night. James entered a bar called the 19th Hole Cocktail Lounge, where he met 28-year-old Wanda Bishop. In a conversation with Wanda, he confessed that his mother had threatened to evict him if he didn't pay his portion of the rent. This exchange would later serve as a key detail in the case against him. After a night of drinking, James returned home. Meanwhile, his family gathered for an Easter dinner at the house. As the evening wore on, James remained in the background, nursing a hangover. At 4 p.m., while his family continued celebrating indoors, James retrieved a .357 Magnum, 2.22 handguns, and a .22 rifle. His original plan was to head to a shooting range, but an offhand comment from his brother, Leonard Jr., about James's Volkswagen car enraged him. It was a subtle reminder of James's perceived failure in life compared to his brother's success. What followed was a horrific, split-second decision that altered the course of James's life and ended 11 others. At 6 p.m., James began his massacre. He first shot his mother, Charity, in the head as she lunged at him, trying to protect the family. He then moved on to his brother Leonard Jr., his wife Elma, and their children, shooting them all in cold blood. The shooting was so rapid that in just a few minutes, 11 lives were extinguished. James didn't stop there. He went around, shooting anyone who was still breathing. He reloaded his weapons and made sure that each victim was dead. The entire massacre lasted less than 5 minutes. After the killing spree, James sat among the bodies of his family members for 3 hours, contemplating suicide. He eventually decided against it, fearing it would be a mortal sin. Instead, he made a chilling 911 call, reporting that there had been a shooting at his house. When the police arrived, James calmly greeted them, and they had no reason to suspect him at first. However, upon entering the home, they were horrified by the gruesome scene. The floor was soaked with blood, and bodies lay scattered throughout the house. James Rupert was arrested and charged with 11 counts of aggravated homicide. During the investigation, it became apparent that the motive for the massacre was tied to his deep-seated resentment, jealousy, and financial gain. James was thought to have killed his family to inherit the $300,000 left behind by his mother and brother. James's trial was a long and complicated legal battle. He initially pleaded insanity, and psychiatrists testified that his violent actions were the result of his traumatic childhood. However, the prosecution argued that James had planned the massacre meticulously, pointing to his actions leading up to the killings, buying ammunition, inquiring about silencers, and practicing shooting. After a second trial in 1977, James was convicted of 11 counts of aggravated murder and sentenced to 11 consecutive life sentences. Over the years, James had several parole hearings, but his requests for release were denied. In 2015, at the age of 88, he died of natural causes after spending 47 years in prison. If you're disturbed by this horrific case and want to know more about how deep-seated trauma can affect individuals, be sure to hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think drove James Rupert to commit such an unthinkable act? Was it the years of abuse, or was it the promise of inheritance that pushed him over the edge? Let us know your thoughts. The aftermath of the massacre left a scar on the community, and the house where the murders took place remained a symbol of the horror that unfolded. Despite the tragic deaths of 11 people, James Rupert's actions still raise questions about the effects of childhood abuse and neglect. His case highlights the dark side of human nature and the consequences of unchecked rage. To this day, the Easter Sunday Massacre remains one of the deadliest family massacres in American history. The story of James Rupert's tragic life and brutal crime serves as a haunting reminder of how unresolved trauma can manifest in the most horrifying ways. If you want more videos on chilling true crime stories like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support helps us bring these dark tales to light. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.